Hello students, today we are going to start a new chapter of 2nd PU Physics. Here it is the chapter number 4 and its title is Moving Charges and Magnetism. It is continuation of the previous chapters what we have learnt. So let us start off with the basic concepts of this particular chapter. Let us have some introduction about some basic concepts which are very much helpful to understand the chapter in a proper way. First, let us recall what we know about magnets. See, the term magnet is very familiar for us. From the primary only, we have learnt about the magnet, we have heard about the magnet. And also we have learned some basic properties related with the magnets, isn't it? So, around us or in our daily life, we find so many areas where different type of magnets are used for different works or different activities. Hence, here we have to understand what actually is the magnet and or what is its basic property. See, magnet is a material which can attract iron or iron-like substances. Okay, the material which attracts iron or iron-like substances. Okay, so it is called as the magnet. Because of this property, that is property of attracting the iron-like substances, yes, it is used in various areas. Right. For example, you might have seen the compass, which is used as the indicator of the direction. You might have saw the horseshoe magnet, which is used in physics experiments, and also it is used in various other scientific areas. Or you might have saw the bar magnets or cylindrical magnets or oval magnets, disc shaped magnets, the magnets which are used in the speakers. Yes, so like this we have plenty of applications of the magnets, and we have plenty of shape and sizes of the magnets. Okay, and also we know that every magnet will be having two poles, whether it is a big magnet or a small magnet. Every magnet will be having two poles. One pole is known as the north pole and other is known as the south pole. Right, so therefore here whenever we have the interaction between any two magnets, okay, I am repeating it again, right? See, there may be a force of attraction or there may be a force of repulsion. But in case of magnets interacting with iron, we find only the attractive force. But whenever there is interaction between one magnet and another magnet, then there may be a force of attraction or there may be a force of repulsion. Okay, you know this very well, right? In later sessions also we are going to understand or recall them once again whenever there is any situation. We know that whenever any same type of poles, like we call them as the like poles. Okay, see here the pole S is there in one magnet. If the pole S of another magnet is brought, okay, then there will be a force of repulsion between them. The two poles repel each other, right? Or if North Pole is brought closer to the North Pole, again the force of repulsion is found between them, right? Hence, like poles always repel each other. It is again another basic property regarding the magnets, and we know that unlike poles, like if the south pole of another magnet is brought closer to the north pole, then there will be force of attraction between them, isn't it? So this is the property which might be used in various other applications, right? So after understanding what are the magnets, right? What are the magnets? I want to recall it once again. Dear students, magnets are the materials which have the property of attracting iron or iron-like substances. Okay, so based on this property, we have different type of magnets, magnets of different shape and sizes, and which are used in our daily life for different purposes or works. Now, dear students, let us recall what we have learnt in our previous classes. See, in our previous chapter, that is in the study of electrostatics or the phenomena associated with the charges, we came to know that whenever there is any charge, then around that charge there will be some space, and that space is known as the electric field. Okay, that space is called as the electric field. If any test charge or if another charge is brought into that electric field, then this test charge will experience the force. Again, that force may be attractive type of force or repulsive type of force, depending upon what type of charges are there. Okay, so what type of charge is the source charge and what type of charge is the test charge, right? There also the unlike charges attract each other and the like charges repel each other, isn't it? So we have learnt about this. In the same way, dear students, whenever we have any magnet, yes, suppose one magnet is placed here, right? If one magnet, suppose I have taken a bar magnet, and if it is placed in the open space, then around that magnet there will be one region of attraction. Whenever we have a magnet, then there will be a region around that magnet, and that region which is present around the magnet, that region itself is called as the magnetic field. Okay, so what is the basic property of this magnetic field? Very simple. See, as it was in case of electric field, as another charge used to face the force of attraction or repulsion within the electric field, in the same way, dear students, if any iron-like substance or any magnetic material or any magnet, if it is brought into this region of magnetic field, then that will experience the force. That material will experience the force. So that exertion of the force from the magnet on that particular material itself indicates the presence of the magnetic field around that magnet. Dear students, so therefore, how to define this magnetic field? See, it is very simple. The region present around the magnet within which any other magnetic material or any other magnet experiences the force is called as the magnetic field. Okay, I hope the definition of magnetic field is clear. Okay, dear students, what actually is the magnetism? So after understanding the meaning of magnet and magnetic field, let us move towards the magnetism. See, magnetism is a physical phenomena. It is a physical phenomena. Okay, it is a physical phenomena, and because of this physical phenomena, we can able to see the presence of one magnetic field. And also, because of this physical phenomena, we can able to see the force of attraction and repulsion. Okay? So dear students, I repeat it once again. Observe. See, magnetism is actually a physical phenomena. It is known as the physical phenomena. And because of this physical phenomena, a magnetic field is created or magnetic field is found, and within that magnetic field, yes, according to different situations, we can able to observe the force of attraction or the force of repulsion. Along with that, because of this physical phenomena, we can able to observe some other phenomena, and we can relate the other phenomena with each other, and we can study different type of concepts. So therefore, here indirectly, magnetism acts like a property of the material. Yes. So after understanding different type of meanings related to magnetic field and magnetism, so let us focus on some very important points associated with all the things what we have learned. See, the very first thing is the magnetic field which is found around any magnet. It is a vector quantity. Just like how the electric field was a vector quantity, in the same way, magnetic field is also a vector quantity. It has got both magnitude as well as the direction. And this magnetic field is represented by one symbol, that is vector B. Yes, B actually it stands for the symbol of magnetic field, and if we put the arrow mark there, then it becomes the vector quantity. If we want to consider only the magnitude of the magnetic field, then simply we need to write it as B. Okay? Yes. After understanding this property, let us go to the second one. As in electric fields, dear students, we know that electric field is made up of electric field lines or electric lines of forces. In the same way, in magnetic field also, we find the field lines which are known as the magnetic field lines or magnetic lines of forces. Okay, hence these magnetic lines of forces are very similar to the electric field lines of forces or electric field lines. Most of the properties are very same. Whatever the properties we have learned related to electric field lines, the same properties are applicable to magnetic field lines also, but only one thing or one or two small changes are there. So one of the major change is, dear students, electric field lines were having the starting point and the end point. Just to recall it. Yes. So electric field lines, they used to start with a positive charge and they used to end at a negative charge. Correct. They used to start with the positive charge and they used to end at negative charge. Isn't it? So there was no continuation again from negative charge to positive charge. Isn't it? Just to recall what we have learned. There was no continuation of the electric field lines from negative charge to positive charge. Okay, but dear students, in the case of magnet, what happens? If we have a magnet, then here also the magnetic field lines, they start from the North Pole and they reach the South Pole. Okay, they start from the North Pole and they reach the South Pole, but they will not end at the South Pole. They continue inside the magnet. So, there is continuation of the magnetic field lines inside the magnet. Okay, so that is the major and the very important change which is found in the property of the magnetic field lines and the electric field lines. So therefore, dear students, just to remember that electric field lines are not continuous, whereas the magnetic field lines are continuous. Okay? Yes, and these magnetic field lines, even they can pass through the material medium also. Suppose glass is there, or paper or wooden sheet is there, or any other type of material medium is there, then these magnetic field lines can pass through that material medium. Okay, so dear students, if some magnetic field lines are emerging out from the plane of the paper, see, try to understand this. If the magnetic field lines are emerging out from the plane of the paper, emerging out. So, if you are holding the paper in front of you, just you are holding the plain paper in front of you, and if the magnetic field lines are passing through that paper and they are reaching towards you, then then we can say that the magnetic field lines are coming out of the plane of the paper. In such case, the magnetic field lines are denoted by a dot with a circle on it or around it. Okay, so the magnetic field line is indicated with a dot and a circle around it. Remember, dear students. So I repeat it once again. If the magnetic field or the magnetic field lines are emerging out of the paper, emerging out of the plane of the paper, then it is denoted by a dot and a circle around it. If the magnetic field lines are entering into the paper, yes, try to understand this. Okay, if you are holding the paper and if the magnetic field lines are entering from you and they are entering the paper, yes, if the magnetic field lines are, yes, they are moving or they are moving from you towards the paper, it means we say that the magnetic field or magnetic field lines are entering the paper. In that case, that magnetic field line or the magnetic field, it is represented by a cross mark and a circle around it, a small circle around it. Okay, dear students, so here you can able to see the cross mark with a small circle as well as the dot mark with a small circle. See, it is the basic point and it will help you to understand the phenomena associated with the magnetic field. Okay, hence try to remember it and try to understand it properly without any confusion. So finally, I am repeating it once again. If the magnetic field lines are emerging out of the paper, then it is symbolically indicated by a dot and a circle. If the magnetic field is entering into the paper, then it is represented by a cross mark and a circle on it. Okay, so remember these important points associated with the magnetism. Dear students, we came to know about some basic as well as fundamental concepts related to magnetism. Now, there arises one question: whether the magnetic field in a region will be present due to the presence of the magnet, or is it possible to have the magnetic field by any other method? I repeat the question, understand it carefully. Whether magnetic field in a region will be present due to the presence of any permanent magnet, or is it possible to have the magnetic field due by any other method? Yes. For this question, Oersted tried to find the answer. Hence, he conducted one experiment, and with the help of that experiment, he tried to give the information about the magnetic field due to the flow of current or the flow of charges. So in his experiment, see what he did. He considered a conductor for example, here a conductor is placed in the north-south direction. See, suppose AB is the conductor. Okay, it is placed in the north to south direction, and that conductor is connected to a battery along with the switch or plug key. Now, near to that conductor, he placed one magnetic needle. Okay, or it is also known as the compass. So, in this arrangement, when he made the switch on, then the current starts to flow in the circuit, or it starts to flow through that conductor which is kept nearer to the magnetic needle. And observe the poles here. See, conductor is placed along the north-south direction, and magnetic needle is also placed in the same way, such that the south pole of the magnetic needle is towards the south pole of the earth. Okay, in that way the needle is considered, or it is placed. In such case, as the current starts to flow, as soon as when we put the switch on, as soon as the current starts to flow, he observed the deflection in the needle or deflection in the compass. He observed that the south pole is moving away from the conductor and the north pole is moving towards the conductor. So, he observed the deflection in the compass. See, observe it, dear students. See, before sending the current through the circuit, there is no magnetic field, or there is no other permanent magnet nearer to this magnetic needle. Okay, this is the first point to be noted here. And the magnetic needle always rests along the north-south direction of the earth, and it deflects only when there is any other magnetic field. Okay, under the influence of other magnetic field only it deflects. So, in this experiment, Oersted found that whenever there is flow of current through the circuit, the needle is deflecting. If the current is stopped, the needle returns back to its original position along the north-south direction. So, he tried to get the reason for this. He tried to make the analysis for this. And finally, he arrived at one conclusion, that when the current starts to flow through the conductor AB, then that flow of current or that flow of charges creates some magnetic field around that conductor. Okay, this is the conclusion drawn by the Oersted. Right. Due to the flow of current through the conductor, he found that, or he concluded that, the magnetic field will be created around the conductor. And under the influence of that magnetic field, the needle deflects. Because we know that whenever any two magnetic fields come closer to one another, whenever there is any interaction between any two magnetic fields, always due to that, always there will be either the force of attraction or the force of repulsion. And because of this force of attraction and repulsion, see, the needle has deflected in a particular direction. See, this is a very important conclusion drawn from that experiment. And this effect or this phenomena itself is called as the electromagnetic effect. It is called as the electromagnetic effect. It means creation of magnetic field around a current carrying conductor. Okay. So I think you have learned the concept of electromagnetic effect in your 8th standard or in the 9th standard. Yes, so but it was not in detail, but the concept was there while you were discussing or studying about the different type of magnets. Right. Now, in this experiment, Oersted brought a major change. He made one change and repeated the experiment. So what he did, he changed the polarity of the battery. See, observe the battery connection here. In the first figure, see, positive terminal is towards the south pole and negative terminal is towards the north pole. Whereas in the second figure, the negative terminal is brought towards the south pole and positive terminal is taken towards the north pole. So he changed the polarity of the battery and he made the switch on. Now the current starts to flow from this positive terminal and it reaches the north pole. Now the current in the wire or in the conductor AB is flowing from B to A or from north pole to south pole. And he observed the deflection as soon as the current starts to flow, and he observed that the deflection this time is completely opposite to the deflection in the previous case. Okay, so deflection in this case, south pole is found moving towards the conductor and north pole is found moving away from the conductor. So here the direction of deflection of the needle is opposite to that of the previous case. Right. So this is the major observation made by the Oersted in his experiment. Right. So from these two experiments, finally he arrived at two major conclusions. Okay, he found two major conclusions through the experiment. First one is a magnetic field. A magnetic field will be created around the current carrying conductor. Okay, this is the first conclusion what he drew from the experiment. Right? Then what is the second conclusion drawn from this? Yes, direction of the magnetic field changes. Direction of the magnetic field changes as the direction of current changes. Okay, as the direction of the current changes. So these two are the very important conclusions drawn from the Oersted's experiment. And finally, we can say that magnetic field in a region is not only created due to a permanent magnet, but we can find the magnetic field around a current carrying conductor or whenever there is any flow of charge in a medium. Okay, if some charges move from one place to another place in a material medium, then it will create the magnetic field around that medium. Okay, so this is a very important information which is given by the Oersted, and this information or this conclusion, it has led to a new innovation or new invention in the field of magnetism, and that is called as the electromagnetism. Okay, it is called as the electromagnetism. Right, with the help of that, today we have developed so many devices, we have developed so many equipments, or we have so many machineries which work on the principle of electromagnetism. Regarding the direction of the magnetic field, again, many scientists have worked and they have given their own conclusions, right? and we shall see about the ways of finding the direction of the magnetic field in our next video. Stay tuned.